Good day, everyone. My name is McGerald Besto, but I prefer to be addressed as Maria. So today I am going to introduce to you one of the modules of our DevCom 206 course. So the title for the module is Writing Print Communication Materials. So the objectives for this are the following. Firstly, is that you're after studying this module, you should be able to apply the principles of clear and effective writing in written exercises, and you will be able to compute as well the readability of selected printed materials using Gunning Fog Index. So before we begin with the module, let us just revisit what are the things that we have learned so far. So, in our first module, we have discussed development communication materials, its nature, advantages, and limitations. After the first module, we also have discussed about the second module, which is the types of communication materials. So, these communication materials that we have discussed are particularly news, report, abstract and technical paper, poster, and then leaflet. So after this one, we now proceed with our module three, which is the writing print communication materials. So to begin with, it is very important to note that in writing print communication materials, specifically on development communication, we need to know that it is not a one man job. Rather, it is a team effort. So, with that being said, it is very important to note that there are five specified team members. So, the following are the writer, the editor, the illustrator, the layout artist, and the printers. So, when we talk about the writer, he or she or they are the one who write the article itself. So they are tasked in writing the material. The second one is the editor, which is assigned in editing all the things that the writer had laid down or written. After that, when a picture or a graphic representation is necessary, the illustrator will then draw it, whether manually, in a comic style, or digitally or electronically, depending on what the communication or media outlet needs or what the project needs. Then the fourth one is, of course, the layout artist. So we should always remember that since we are designing and producing a print communication material, it means that it should be visually appealing to our audience. So it means that that is the job of a layout artist. It means that the layout artist will be the one designing the graphics, arranging all the elements, the visual elements, the graphic representations there, so that it will be easily understood by the audience. Or the necessary information should be highlighted and emphasized so that the audience will basically or easily understand or locate for the important details in the communication material, in on the print communication material, sorry. After that, the last team member is the printer. Of course, since we're talking about print communication materials, so it is very necessary that in our team, we include our printers. So they are the one tasked in printing the material. Now, regardless of our job within the team, we should always remember that since we are doing or we are producing and designing a print communication material, we should always remember that writing is a basic skill everyone must hone. Regardless, you are working as a development communication officer, or you're a reporter, you're the layout artist, or whatever your role in the team, you should always remember that you should have at least a writing skill so that you will be able to effectively contribute to the team. After all, writing is a basic skill that every human should have, because writing helps us to communicate, disseminate information, and express ourselves. So it should be a basic skill everyone must remember. And we should always remember that as writers or development communicators in particular, we follow four principles of clear and effective writing. So the first one is that we should use simple language. So as development communicators, it is our job to simplify things so that our audience, which usually composes of people that we usually encounter every day, but we tend to disregard. These people are street vendors, farmers, and even sidecar drivers, jeepney drivers, those people that we usually encounter but we tend to disregard. So, as development communicators, we should always use the simplest language. So, it means that we should also avoid jargon unless it's necessary. Um, After that, since we have already discussed two principles of clear and effective writing, we should always remember that we should be concise and direct. After all, we don't. Our aim is not to impress everyone, but rather to express ourselves so that the message that we're trying to send to our audience will be easily understood by them. Okay. And then the last one is that we should always prioritize readability. That's why after this introduction to the third module, you will be introduced to the Gunning Fog Index, which is one of the common readability indices that development communicators follow. Um, since we're almost done with everything, we should always remember that writers are either born or made, but can be improved through practice. So we should always remember that there are people who are born really with the talent of writing. Others are made. But we should always remember that it can be improved through practice and time. We just have to write, express ourselves, and allow people to understand what we wanted to express and what's necessary to be disseminated to everyone for for the common good and societal change or positive social change. So that's basically it for the introduction of our module 3. So here are the key takeaways that you will need to remember. The first one is that writing for development communication is about clarity and simplicity. Again, we should be clear and concise because over and over again, development communication is mass oriented. It means that our audience is the center of everything. We do not need to impress them, rather, we should need to allow them to understand the message effectively. The second one is that team collaboration enhances the quality of print communication materials. So it means that it is not a one man job, rather, it's a team collaboration in development communication. Okay? So that we should not be able to you know, we should not be able to compromise what our audience should learn. The last one is that readability formulas help ensure effective communication. So, my fellow reporters for this module will also present some of the common tools to measure readability. So, I'm not going to discuss that, but you should watch out for the next reporters. So before I end the discussion, let me just put here our discussion forum. So it has always been said that as development communicators, whenever we write or produce or design a print communication material, our question should always be, how can I get my audience to understand my message? And that's it for our discussion forum. So you may reply onto this thread on our discussion forum so that we will be able to engage into a conversation. How can we get our audience to understand our message? So here are the references I have used. I have three references for this report. And then before I end my discussion, let me end this one with a quotation that I have made personally. So the world doesn't need hope out from the Pandora's box, but from the stories we share. That's why, fellow development communicators, keep on sharing our stories, because somewhere out there, someone will be inspired by the stories we share. Thank you so much once again for listening, and have a great day ahead. Bye bye.